and whack them in with my axe. They're not in very far, but it'll have to do. This floor is literally like rock. Now all I'm going to do, put a couple of these up against it and possibly need to tie them. And if they start getting too hot and I think they might catch light, I'll just tip some water on them. So there we go, just a simple little heat reflector. You can actually already feel the difference. The heat is getting bounced back this way, but I do suspect I'm going to have to move the fire a little bit forward, and then I might still have to put a little bit of water on just to stop it from igniting. But I don't know if I'll leave that there all night, but I won't be having the fire there on all night anyway. I won't be having it lit throughout the night. We do have nice cushy sleeping bags, so there's no need really. Okay, so here's our fire at the moment. We've got pork chops on at the moment, and what I've done is I put lots and lots of small sticks from sort of hardwood and so on in to get a nice bed of coals, and I'm just scooting that under and it's cooking them nicely. And then every so often I'm putting some more smaller sticks on just to be able to scoot fresh coals underneath. And I'm just going to get a few big logs now to put next to it around about here, just so I can have a nice bit of heat coming to do the potatoes. And in the pan we got some fried onions. So it's all cooking nicely. So me and the boy have decided we're going to go into the forest to have a look around. We've already been there a couple of times to get firewood and everything. And George is expecting to see some scary monsters of some description. So I'll take you along just in case we do. We can have a sort of Blair Witch moment, okay?
And that's why I brought my stick.
Stick of doom. And another reason we're going to go in is we need to find some dry tinder. It poured with rain last night. Now, I have got tinder. I always keep a little bundle in with me whenever, because you don't know what's going to happen with the rain. And if it pours down, you might not be able to get any dry tinder at all, and that could be the difference between having a fire or not having a fire. So we're going to see if we can find a nice big handful. I've got enough to get a fire started, but I'd like to have a little bit more just in case. So we're going to look for that as well.
Okay. So we're going to... The deeper we get in, the more lions there are going to be.
Could be, yeah.
Because they don't like going out where everybody can see them. That's where that's what they found out. If they out in there, they just get seen in the hills. So we always see them start creep into the forest. Oh no, we're getting closer. These lions are going to get closer. Oh, and the gorillas. I forgot to say about the gorillas.
You didn't, did you?
Yeah. They like going in the trees a lot. So they might jump down on us. Okay, so now we're in. We're trying to find a stick like this for my dad, because then we're going to have like fights with it.
Oh, you didn't say that.
Well, you should have been prepared. You could, if you want one like that, you can. But I like mine straight one. Oh. Is there any specific type you want? Would you like a long, straight stick?
Hang on a second.
Okay. There.
This here. What do you think it is?
Moths.
What's its name? Don't just stab it with a knife, George. Name it. Spa.
Oh. Basswood.
Sphagnum.
Sphagnum. Oh, I remember it.
Name a use for sphagnum moss.
Tinder?
If you dried it out, it would be a good tinder, but it's always really, really, really wet, full of water. So
Drinking?
yeah, the water in sphagnum moss can be drank. It's already filtered it to some degree, but also it's really good for wounds. You could cover a wound with it, and it's mildly antiseptic.
Ooh.
So it kills germs.
Okay. It's always good to know stuff like this.
Won't. It's not. It's going to be dead, isn't it?
Nope, it's bendy.
It's more like a root, isn't it? That's too small for me.
What's
My
that?
fat frame would just snap that.
Okay.
It'd be like Charlie Chaplin's walking stick. You won't get the reference, George.
Okay. But yeah, I understand.
Now, over here, look at this. What do you think that tree is perfect for?
This one.
Yep.
Making a camp. Like.
Nope. Perfect for a toilet seat. You can sit over that and poo. Okay, moving on. I'll edit that bit out, I'm sure. Stop there, I'm putting you on the spot. Why do you like this sort of life? Why do you like camping and that kind of thing?
Because you get to do lots of anything. You can make a tree house. You can make a little bunker to sleep in for the night. And you just get to do what you want, really.
So it's sort of like the freedom of it all.
Yeah, and it's lovely.
Yeah?
Yeah.
It's quite a lot of hard work if you're trying to do stuff, isn't it?
Yeah, but then you'll slowly get used to it, and then be hardly anything. And I love this bit of the woods because there's the water, and you just get to listen to the water walk in.
The water doesn't walk.
Pardon?
You said the water walking. Sounded like you meant the water was going, I'm off down the stream, see you later, going to the riverbank to get my money out. I do apologise.
Okay, and that's what I like about it.
It is beautiful, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. So you like the freedom, the beauty, the sounds, pretty much the everything, yeah?
Yeah.
Cool. Come on then, let's go wombling. In a minute we'll start looking for tinder and stuff.
Flap. Okay. This is my leaf that flaps with me. Off we go, leaf! Can I sit on you? Yes. Oops. Let's go.
Killed your leaf.
Never saw that.
Womble down here.
Probably should have gone down the actual...
I love the freedom. Ow! Thorns.
Free. Ow! Free down! It still is up.
So always our friends. It's alright, I can edit that out easily. So when our friends first moved on to this property, there was only a few trees, surviving, and they had to do a lot of keeping them alive. It was all overgrown with certain things, and so they've done really well to get this back to being sort of like a nice habitable place. And this is the sort of like the place they like to come and relax.
Is this the
That
land?
no, that over there is the other people's land.
Okay.
Down here it is.
Yeah, this is still ours.
Now, do you remember, I like the way you say ours, have you just adopted it? Do you remember when we came down here one time and we had our machetes and we were cutting it all down and you made yourself a little base and you watched us while we were cutting back all the brambles?
Yeah.
That was your first proper experience being out and about, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Keep going then, I've never gone this far.
Really? Me and Mum and Lily have been to the right bottom of it.
Yeah.
Well, not the right. There was a bit of a bush and there was only like 2 feet then.
Yeah.
So we haven't been to the actual proper.
Right, now go careful here a second.
Okay.
Look at that lovely clearing now, that is absolutely beautiful, isn't it? That is stunning. That would be a lovely place to build sort of like a
base. 'Cause it's
well,
really
not a
deep
base,
in.
but I'm thinking like like an earth ship or an earth bag dome kind of house. So then you're all underneath the canopy.
And,
You'd have to check out some of these branches. Why would you have to check the branches out? Do you reckon, G?
Oh, because if they're like kind of dead, they'll fall over.
Do you remember what they're called?
No.
Widow makers.
Oh yeah.
What's that, George?
An acorn.
Correct.
We could plant a tree.
Yep.
I'm going to plant it one quickly.
Okay. Use a stick.
Good point. Alongside.
In 100 years, there might be a huge oak here now.
Yay! In 100 years.
I'll live to see it, of course.
Whoa, I wonder if these are widow makers.
Now this, George, be careful now, stop a sec.
Yeah.
If you move back a sec,
Find out if they are widow makers.
that is completely dead, that one. So just be very careful. But look at this. This bit isn't, and
Oh,
you can make a really nice shelter under that.
if it was all alive and everything, I would probably like build out a bit there.
Yeah, let me come back and
Make
see.
ladders up here, build out there with wood, put like a canopy over here of tarpaulin, and then I could have like a place there to chill out. Oh, that would be awesome.
One day we'll have some land, my friend, and you can have a big, big tree to build your
I'm
home
gonna
in.
call it Big Barry.
Big Bertha.
No, Big Barry.
Big Barry, that's the name of your tree, is it?
Yeah, that, if I had one. Big Barry. So especially if there was one like this.
See, these are all real nice, and it's funny, isn't it? They're all growing sideways.
Yeah, that way.
Yeah, and that would be a brilliant place to build a temporary shelter, wouldn't it?
Oh yeah, because you could have tarpaulin, a really big tarpaulin down there. You could have like a
Well, we
ladder.
could do it all from the dead sticks that are around, and then use just the leaf matter and so on. Be incredible. One day I might ask our friends if we could come here, and all we take with us is a knife and a flint and steel maybe, and we spend a couple of nights. Would you like that?
Yeah.
I just think if it's a knife and a flint and steel, we've got our everything we need.
Yeah, because you can make a fire, you can find the plants around you and eat it.
Yeah, and also you've got things like natural cordage,
Not
which
bramble tea, what's it? Stinging nettle tea.
yeah, that's full of. Do you remember what?
Vitamin D?
Iron.
Oh,
Vitamin D is from something else. What is it?
the sun.
Correct.
Oh, mushrooms. Never want to touch them.
No.
One lesson for the kids out there, never touch mushrooms.
No.
Only the ones you buy from the shop.
Yeah.
And if your mum and dad don't.
Yeah. Exactly. If you know all about mushrooms, then by all means do it. But if you don't, just stay clear of them.
Yeah.
Ones that can kill you look just like ones that taste lovely. So
Because when we were going down a different path, there was ones that had a nice white thing to keep them up, and they were
Stem.
spotty, and it was really, they looked
spotty
lovely.
ones are often poisonous. The ones in like fairy stories, you know those looking ones.
Yeah.
Right, let's go.
That they looked really nice, but I still didn't touch it.
No,
so-
never ever. Okay, well let's just check the state of this stuff down here. It's actually quite dry down here. So we might be able to get some leaves from here.
But if you look at some of them, they are a bit
Well,
wet.
you can always look up and see how thick the canopy is. If the canopy, which is all the leaves, are quite thick, then below it you should have some dry tinder. But there are lots of things here, like, let me show you something. This piece of wood that's been lying on the floor is obviously really wet on the underside, but
Cut it in half.
Cut it in half, and often the innards aren't. Ironically enough, this one is. This one's soaked right through. But sometimes they're not. But if you can get a piece that's been up against something dead, then often, George, it's only the base that's wet, and so you'll have a nice thick bit of firewood, and often if it's rotted enough you can scrape bits out to make tinder.
Cool. I'm going to try and find a brown one of these, like with that type of thing. Like that colour. I'm going to try and find one that's covered in that colour.
Okay.
I don't know if I'm going to find it, but it's worth a try. Oh, little baby! Ba 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 ba. Dada acorn, Baba acorn. Dada and Baba. I hate you, Dada and Baba.
Oh, that's a Jeremy Kyle show. Right.
What's that?
I think it's a hazelnut.
Cool.
But it's already had its contents taken. Let's open it up. Yep.
Oh.
So if we look up, yep, this is a hazelnut tree. A bit later on, George, a bit later on we'll find that there's another hazelnut tree I've noticed. A hazel tree, and we will take some nuts if there is any, and I'll let you try some.
Thanks.
When I was a kid I lived off them, believe it or not. Not literally lived off them, but a place George, come away from it.
Yeah.
A place we went to play had loads of hazel trees. So if we got hungry, rather than going home for lunch, we'd just have a handful of hazelnuts and then carry on again.
Oh, whoa.
So come on then,
Tornadoes
down.
come in.
Dun dun dun, Twister. Quick,
Whee!
get Dorothy.
Yeah. Shoot the cameras. Pew, pew, pew.
Go.
Okay, bye.
So George, in a minute we're going to have to get some tinder,
Okay.
and we'll have to start making our way back.
Yeah. Been a bit chilly.
It is, isn't it? The further we go.
Probably because there's a freezer. Because we're getting close to the freezer. Must be a very powerful freezer. Ah.
Look at that. If we're talking about natural formations for shelters, that is
would be lovely.
fabulous.
Unless,
That's completely dead.
but that.
But, yeah.
What kind of fungus is that?
I
it
believe,
looks
don't
like-
touch.
I won't. It looks like a stingray because.
No, I believe that's horse hoof fungus.
Oh, you told me about that.
If I'm wrong, I'll have a look when we get home. As I say, I'm not very good with fungus.
Do you know what it looks like on the top? Can I touch you with a stick?
No, because you'll be holding the stick. Just hang on. George, mind
Yeah.
back.
That bit, look.
No. That worked.
Okay. It's alright.
Yeah, it does. It feels like horse hoof fungus too. Okay, come on out the way then. We're nearly dead on battery, George.
Okay.
Got one bar left, and I've been watching it go down like you wouldn't believe. So should we start collecting some tinder, or do you want to just go all the way back down and then get another battery on the way back, go back up, get another battery, and come back down?
Yeah, do that.
God, there are some perfectly beautiful trees here, isn't there?
Ooh, ooh, ooh. Battle with?
Oh.
This whole trip is not going to be successful.
We can pick one up. I saw one on the way.
Did you?
Yeah.
That's definitely dead.
Yeah, and that will absorb loads and loads of water. One good thing about that is if you've got a land that doesn't get much water,
Yeah.
like it doesn't, it's very dry.
Yeah.
If you were to dig a pit, shove that in it, cover it back over with soil, then that would still retain water, and when there was no water in the land beside it, it would allow the water out. So you could actually have a self-watering area.
Yeah.
And you can do that with bigger and bigger and bigger trees, more and more, you know?
Yeah.
Perfect.
Not dead. I think this is becoming
This is the edge.
end.
Yeah, well, we won't go through, we won't fight through there. But this is the furthest I've ever gone.
Let's just quickly look into the bits we found. And is this still the land? Like?
Yep, that's there is the boundary across that way.
Ooh.
A hell of a lot of land, isn't there?
Yeah.
Right, hang on.
Most of this place is dead.
Yeah. Hang on a sec.
Whoa. Whoa. I wonder what that is.
I'll have a look at home and put a voiceover on it.
Okay.
Again, I think it's horse hoof, but I think that was not. I think it's adolescent horse hoof, but I'm not sure.
Okay.
Right. George, come here.
So the battery's getting low on the camera, so we're gonna get some tinder and then get more battery. So, see you in 10 minutes.
George just looked down to notice all of this on him, which in this country is called sticky weed. I've done a video on this stuff, making different coffees out of it. It's called gallium aspirin, if I remember rightly. But I could be confusing two different chemical names or whatever. But yeah, pain in the butt stuff. We'll be trying to pick that up for hours.